Owns this network, Leslie Moonves. He and I have had a relationship for years and years and years. And I phoned him just before the program and I said, Leslie, it's been great. You've been great. The network has been great, but I'm retiring.
The bug, Heartbleed, potentially exposes passwords, credit card numbers, and the contents of your emails. Call me naive, but I thought that was the kind of private information that was between me and the NSA.
Just 1 week after David Letterman announced his retirement from The Late Show, CBS has confirmed that a successor will be the man you just saw there, Steven Colbert. It was a quick decision for CBS, and it completes a generational shift for the late-night broadcast TV talk show landscape. Robert Thomson, a professor of media studies at Syracuse University, joins the News Hub now for a little late-night chat mid-afternoon. Robert, thanks for taking a few minutes. What do you make of Colbert?
Well, first of all, I don't think it was a last-minute decision. I think this was probably something they had cooking for some time, because I don't think it's a decision they wanted to make lightly. My first response is, here's a guy who has done what he's done on Comedy Central about as well as anybody's ever done a television show. The big question is he going to be able to leave that persona he does on the Colbert Report and do a traditional late-night talk show as himself, Stephen Colbert? And I think that's a big question.
Yeah, it is. I mean, do we have to start going back to what he was doing before he had Colbert Report, we'll say? Do we have to go back and start looking at what he was doing before that to get a sense of how he might be on The Late Show?
Well, I suppose that would be one thing to do. There isn't a whole lot of it out there. He did Strangers with Candy, did a few other things. Another good way is to listen to some of the interviews he did. He did do some interviews where he wasn't in character. A very charming, compelling, intellectual kind of guy. And he's got a really deep bench of talents. He can sing, he can dance, he can do improvisation. He's kind of like Fallon in that respect. But I think his biggest problem, I think his biggest competition isn't going to be Fallon or Kimmel. They'll do what they're going to do. I think it's going to be the memory of his own character that he's going to have to deal with.
Yeah, you bring up Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, let's talk about that for a second. I mean, I remember when I was in college and Letterman was, cutting edge. Late night talk shows have not been cutting edge in a long time. And now suddenly you have three guys. All the major networks are turning over their hosts, their anchors. What is going on here?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought that up. I had just started graduate school when Letterman started, and our jaws used to drop. I mean, all our lives, late night meant Johnny Carson, and he was doing this whole martini and cigarette, show busy kind of stuff, the stuff our parents watched. Right. And Letterman comes on and turns late night into Dada. I mean, it was really weird. And everybody that's doing it now owes it to Letterman. Conan's doing Letterman. Both Jimmys are doing Letterman, even Stewart and Colbert. But Letterman's 67. He's been doing it for a while. It's getting old. And Fallon has figured out how to do the Mr. Nice Guy of Leno with the hip digital stuff. Kimmel has been doing hip internet-oriented stuff for years. And Colbert is going to somehow figure out how to move into that. And his whole digital presence has been Colbert Nation, which is dependent upon the character he plays on his Comedy Central show. So there's going to be a really tough transition for him, I think.
Yeah, it's funny. I know we're showing our age here, but who cares? I remember. I mean, when I was in college, I mean, you watched Letterman, you watched late night television.
That's right.
College kids, you watch it. I don't know if they do that now. So the question for all these networks is, can they bring that audience back to late night TV? They obviously want to.
Yeah, my students now still watch late night TV. They just don't watch it when it's on at late night. They watch it all chopped up in little pieces and fed to their phones or their tablets the next day or the day after. And late night is really good for that. Late night adapts surprisingly well for a form that was invented back in the 50s. It really works for internet stuff because it's all so modular. So it's a matter of both getting enough ratings to stay first or second place. You don't want to fall into third, and at the same time being hip enough that your stuff goes viral. Not that that's generating much income yet, but they want to keep their people with a presence on the internet so that if they ever figure out how to monetize this in a consistent sort of way, their guys are ready to go.
Yeah. All right, Robert Thomson at Syracuse University. Thank you very much.
Thank you.